Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Crowd
Control
Podcast.
I'll be your moderator for today. My name is Dennis Lee,
My name is June.
My name is Kevin Jong.
and this is our podcast. Welcome to another episode,
Here we are, back again. Back at it again.
another week, and the grind begins again.
The grind is real.
The grind of life.
So, how have you guys been doing the past week?
Oh man, I've been tired. Trying to look for a job right now.
All right.
Yeah,
That's the true grind right there.
we're all graduating now, right? So
Sure.
it's a bit hard. But we're still playing games. We're still trying to get this to another level.
I mean, once you've uploaded
There's no stopping.
3 episodes,
Yeah.
there's no stopping anymore.
Yeah.
The train it's off.
But after I've been looking at our podcast for a while, and I do feel like we're on the right way. We're on the right track. We're getting better at it. So I do feel very happy about that.
Yeah, I mean, I do see improvement, I would say, however slight it may be.
And we do have our first 2 comments. I'm so happy about that.
In the last episode.
Oh yes.
On our YouTube channel.
Yes.
of
So
course.
I'm very happy.
Yeah.
When I looked at that, I showed my mom.
The one comment wasn't very a nice comment, but
But I still love it.
we
It
appreciate.
shows that you are engaged with our content.
What was his name again? I forgot his name.
But
Shout out to you.
whatever. Even if it was bad or good, I like the attention.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Shout out to whoever wrote that comment. We appreciate.
We'll look you up later and send you a thank you email.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
But I don't want to talk about a comic I was reading. Just to open it up a bit, have it chill. It's called Scoob and Shag.
Oh, is that the one you were talking about this weekend or last weekend?
Yeah. Kevin and we started reading it together.
So those of you who ever saw Scooby-Doo and the Gang, it's a nice spin-off. A webtoon. And
Yeah, it's a webtoon.
it's very special. You're going to have a lot
In a
of
good
fun
way.
reading it. In a very good way.
It's very shonen-y. So by shonen, I mean like genres like Naruto, One Piece, Dragon Ball. So like
But with the Looney Tunes and Western cartoon universe. You're going to see Dexter, you're going to see Dee Dee, you're going
Homer
to see...
Simpson,
Homer Simpson.
Sniper the Fox.
Johnny Bravo.
Yeah, Johnny Bravo. Courage the Cowardly
Like
Dog.
Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, cartoon characters dying.
I saw the first 3-4 episodes.
Oh,
and
it's not. Yeah,
it sucked.
No, because it doesn't become a shonen until like the 20th chapter.
Exactly.
Or something.
That's kind of why. Because you guys were telling me about it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna read it. And then I read it, and then the first episode was like 3 cuts long.
But I feel like there's a charm to the first few episodes.
It's like the author was trying to
Scoop.
figure out.
Yeah.
He was
So
trying to figure
cool.
out what this comic was trying to be.
I think he started it as like a gag comic. Just like
Okay.
gags
like
and stuff.
comedy.
Yeah, comedy.
Okay.
And I guess he started having more ideas as he started
You can
working
tell
on
because
this comic.
as the comic progresses, he's kind of more like, okay, let's
Yeah.
go this way,
Yeah.
and then he gets more into like fighting the
Yeah.
cartoons fighting each
Yeah,
other.
but I just love the idea of how the power levels of each character is determined
we should not spoil it for them yet.
No, but I just want to know like the basic premise.
Oh, right,
So
right.
like the power levels of each, because that's what got me into reading the comic, because someone told me about the basic premise of this. So how each cartoon character's power level is determined by how popular they are in like the real world.
like Mickey Mouse.
So like the most powerful being in this comic is Mickey Mouse.
For
Because-
now.
I mean but, I mean you never know.
You never
but-
know when the tables
Yeah,
might turn.
but like they're like the 6 commanders, and I won't reveal all, but like one of them is Bugs Bunny, and he's like this super powerful. Like there's this scene where he like walks and he screams like dead air, and he's like his eyes are like glowing, and he just like destroys people. it's incredible. I love this.
I never knew Bugs Bunny could be that cool.
Yeah, he's so cool.
He was so cool. I was like, wow, this is something.
it's the start of something new
Yeah,
for all those old time comics.
and then like I love how they sort of explain. You know how Bugs Bunny always breaks the fourth wall, so he always talks to like the audience in all his like shows, and they explain how if you grow so powerful that if your Ballyhoo, which is like name their power, grows so powerful, they start hearing voices of the other dimension or like the other people.
so
which-
it's making reference to like
yeah
that.
yeah exactly.
Oh, okay.
So that's how he talks to like
That's
audience.
actually pretty. That's pretty smart.
Yeah, like you hear voices when you're so powerful.
Okay.
That's like the in-lore explanation of how that happens. But yeah, it was like I recommend anyone who's even slightly interested in shonen.
Yeah, especially for someone that lost a love for comics in such a long time.
I mean,
It
we
actually got
reignited your
me.
passion, right?
I'm not sure about it, but it's like a lost innocent that I
Yeah.
found back, and I just felt so happy reading it. I was actually laughing quite a bit.
It's really good. I recommend it. Okay, for this week, we're actually gonna spice up the way we we do our podcast.
just change
So,
things up
yeah.
a bit.
I mean, we just started, so it's part of like growing and experimenting.
Trial and error.
Yeah, so for this week's episode, and maybe for the foreseeable future as well, we're gonna start the podcast with the gaming news.
I think that because most
The
people
juice.
expect those things first. They're looking for that.
Right.
And then if they come to like us as
Then-
individuals, then
mhm.
they'll stay for our gaming impressions
You're right.
and what we've been playing.
So, but this week's pretty spicy, I would
very
say.
spicy.
Yeah, there's a lot of things coming out.
Like ghost chili pepper or like a California
no,
Reaper.
I think-
Korean chili paste.
Okay,
Oh,
okay,
alright.
not that spicy,
Woo!
but spicy enough.
Spicy enough.
So let's start off with probably one of the biggest news in quite some time, which is the announcement of Half-Life Alyx.
Ooh.
I bet a lot of people are very, very hyped about that.
It is. I never expected to see another Half-Life game.
I mean, it's been to the point where it's memeified.
Yeah, exactly.
That a lot of people don't think there's gonna be a next
Like,
gen
yeah.
Half-Life.
Half-Life achieved meme status.
That's like the top pinnacle
It's-
of how a
it's
game
be- it-
can
it
be.
became a meme
Yeah.
because Half-Life 3 never came out.
Yeah.
That's when a company knows, like, should we release? Maybe not. We will think about
Yeah.
it.
I think Half-Life 2 Episode 2 came out 2007.
A long time
Yeah,
ago.
so it's been 12 years.
It's been a
Since the
long time
last
coming.
Half-Life
It's
game.
been so long that people never saw this coming, never
Exactly.
expected.
Like,
they
the-
wanted it.
The dream was dead.
Yeah. It's been just so long that people stopped dreaming about
Yeah,
it.
the dream was dead.
A childhood
This-
dream. You want to be astronaut. You never got to be an astronaut.
I was actually really surprised when I heard Alyx was coming out.
It's pretty surprising. So it's coming out March 2020.
next year.
Yeah.
So it's not too far off.
Yeah, basically a few months from now.
Yeah.
It's actually people might be kinda disappointed to hear that it's a VR game, because when people think of VR games, they think of spin-off,
Beat
Or like-
Saber.
like not really a full-length game or not really like a AAA high-budget game. But apparently this is quite different from your typical VR game.
I mean, we all watched the trailer together. It looked legit.
It looks incredible.
Yeah.
It actually is like a game.
When
out
I
even
looked
on
at it,
PC,
because
basically.
you know how the thing around VR is, when you look at a VR game, you don't really feel like it's a AAA game, like you said. It's because the graphics is terrible. A lot of the immersion is cut off because actually the graphics is bad.
But the immersion is improved by the VR experience.
right,
but-
it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But when we saw the trailer, I was really surprised because I was like, has VR been upgraded that much to be able to bring up the standards this high?
Cuz like if it wasn't a VR game, it would still look good.
Yeah.
Like,
I would still play it.
Yeah, the game looks really good. I'm actually surprised at how immersive it seems. I think the one scene that really sort of like made me think about the possibilities of this game is the scene where you see the main character rummaging through like a cupboard,
Oh,
and she's like pushing through all the items, and he finds
I thought that was really cool.
and then she finds a bullet,
Yeah.
and then she like puts it in her gun.
and then she shoots it right.
Yeah,
I do have you know because we played that VR zombie game where
Yeah.
you use, and that was pretty immersive enough.
yeah.
But we do have to understand that the graphics of that game wasn't that
But it just like the VR just makes it feel so real.
right, and the fact that you're able to touch objects and kind of push things
Yeah.
away, that kind of blew my mind.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Imagine the future of gaming. I never thought VR could be a future, was because it felt so distant. But I just feel like the future is coming.
Yeah.
It's here.
Like the graphics look incredible, the gameplay looks incredible. it looks scary. Like
Actually looks like a legitimate Half-Life
I don't
game.
know
Yeah.
if I can play it because in the trailer the crab kind of jumped out.
the
and
head,
I-
the
and
head
I-
crab,
the
the
head
head crab
crab.
Yeah,
that jumps
and
at you.
I hate that. I hate jump scares. I hate things jumping at me. I don't even know if I can play it, but
Yeah.
if with you guys, maybe I'll give it a shot.
I mean,
Oh, but thing is, it's VR.
Yeah,
We can't really do much
we
here.
can't be with you. you're,
Like,
you're,
maybe
you're
you
there
get
by
an
yourself.
earphone and then we'll be. It's all gonna be okay.
Well, you're
We're
just like
here
right
for
next
you.
to me.
Yeah.
You're right next to me. It's gonna be okay.
We'll be holding your hand
Yes,
as you
of
play.
course.
through it. So apparently this is Valve's biggest project yet. Their words. So this is gonna be bigger than Half-Life 2. Apparently, bigger than anything they've developed on. I mean, we'll see if that's actually true. But based on what we saw, I wouldn't be surprised.
Because I think maybe if this really does take off, it's gonna start a new actual wave of VR games because AAA title companies are gonna say, "Oh, hey, it actually does sell well. Maybe we should do
Right.
it. We should challenge
Exactly.
ourselves to do this."
A lot of people are disappointed that it's a VR only game, but I do think we should be a little thankful that VR, this medium, exists, because the only reason why they are actually trying this out is because they have an excuse that it's a VR.
Sure. Like, I think there was an interview with the development team, and they did talk about how the expectation of Half-Life 3 was just so huge and so heavy on the team that they weren't sure what to do with Half-Life 3 because it reached like mythological status. Half-Life
Just
3.
imagine
It's like a
the
tale.
pressure.
A tale you tell your children. Oh, back in my day, there was a game called Half-Life 2. But we still wait for 3.
Because the game ended on a cliffhanger, and the sequel never came out.
Just imagine how much people have been looking forward to this game, and then now they're making it. Of course, the developers are gonna be scared. If I was a developer, I would be scared. I wouldn't even know where to start.
Because will it live up to the hype?
Yeah,
That's the thing.
because a lot of the games we've seen in the recent times that a lot of the games that have high expectations don't live up to it,
Right.
and there's a lot of games that flopped this very year. So it's very reasonable that they are very scared. But I'm glad at the fact that VR or not, I will try to pick it up because a lot of people have been telling me Half-Life 1 and 2 have been it was game defining. It was
Like it.
industry defining games, and I've never been able to play it. I was so busy playing like WoW or like other games.
Right.
So I'm gonna try to pick it up. I do have a VR headset. It's just that I need a VR
The controllers.
controller, right? But maybe next year I'll be able to get it.
Yeah. But Kevin, you played Half-Life, right?
I played both Half-Life 1 and 2.
Did you play Half-Life 2 episode 1 and episode 2 as well?
All of them, basically.
So all 4 games you played.
And I've been disappointed with the cliffhanger at the end. Because I thought that was going to be episode 3, so I was waiting for it. Like, oh, okay, I'll just wait a few years.
It's a good thing I didn't play.
And look at how
Half-Life
old
2.
I am now. Where's episode
it's like
3?
young teenager
Valve.
Kevin.
Valve.
And not even episode 3. People thought it might be Half-Life 3.
I don't know. I expected episode 3. But you know the meme where Valve never gets to 3? They don't know
Yeah.
how to count to 3.
Yeah, it's like Left 4 Dead 2,
1, 2.
Team Fortress 2.
Portal 1, 2. Where's 3? Where's 3? Portal 3?
Yeah. Now Half-Life never reached 3.
Oh my god.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So another quite interesting thing about this Half-Life game is it's not a sequel to Half-Life 2. So the cliffhanger is still a cliffhanger.
It's Half-Life
So
1.5.
people who are disappointed about the cliffhanger, you're still gonna be disappointed.
It's just
Like,
nothing has changed.
they didn't want to touch that.
Yeah.
They don't. They don't dare.
They left it out.
They don't
Yeah.
dare.
So this game is set between Half-Life 1 and 2.
Yep, basically.
So it's like a pre-sequel. So sequel to Half-Life 1, but prequel to Half-Life 2.
That's a safe way to do things.
Yeah. Because like I'm not sure exactly what happened. Is there like a story to tell between 1 and 2?
So in 1, basically there's a some sort of guy called G-Man. Like he's like
Okay.
an all-knowing contractor for some other alien beings. I don't know, but he sends your protagonist Gordon Freeman to a status like what status, I guess. So he maybe a coma or whatever. It's like a long sleep. And then in 2 you wake up in like a near distant future.
so like Gordon Freeman, which is the name of the main character.
Yeah, in 1.
He's in like sleep. He's
Yeah.
sleeping between 1 and 2.
Yeah. And then he wakes up in like
Yeah.
this alien colonized Earth, basically.
Because I think that's why you don't play as Gordon Freeman in this game.
Yeah, you play as Alyx, his companion
Yeah.
that you go along with, and like.
So I guess it's telling her
yeah.
story, what she
Yep.
did between 1
Yep.
and 2. And it's the first Half-Life with a voiced hero because, as you all know, there are two iconic silent heroes in gaming: Link and Gordon Freeman.
But in the case of Valve, there's Gordon Freeman and the Portal character,
Oh right, I think her name is Chloe.
Chloe.
Yeah, but like I mean, I love Portal 1 and 2. I love Portal 1 and 2. They're incredible games, and they're incredibly funny games. But you don't play the game because the main character's personality, That's not the point of the
They
game.
just don't talk.
Yeah. Like everything else is full of personality, like the machines, the drones, but the main character is whatever.
They're just so cool. They just
Yeah.
don't talk at all.
Yeah. So another big feature is that the main character has gravity gloves, and we saw it in action in the trailer. Like she was like
She was pulling
things,
things, she was pushing things,
throwing things.
Yep.
Yeah, that gives I think another depth to combat
Right, exactly.
and how people can interact with objects.
Hmm.
People can go about routes in a different way. Maybe some people can go this way. Other people might actually go this way and maybe try different things with the pull and push gloves.
Because there's like a throwback to Half-Life 2, right? I think the gravity gun was
No,
introduced.
even in
Half-Life 2.
Half-Life 1,
Okay.
there was a gravity gun
Okay.
too.
So the gravity gun is sort of this very iconic
Yep.
Half-Life weapon. It's like
Ah.
probably the iconic Half-Life weapon, right?
Mhm.
If I remember correctly.
Oh, the crowbar.
yeah,
The
exactly.
crowbar.
Oh, yeah, right.
You had to think of the
Yeah.
crowbar as the most iconic.
Okay, the crowbar and then the gravity gun.
Yeah,
Right.
basically.
Is there going to be a crowbar in this one?
We'll
Of course,
see.
there has to be a crowbar.
Oh,
That's
man.
the first
imagine,
thing you have
Imagine
to
how
pick
people
up.
are going to be disappointed if they can't get a crowbar.
Oh man! But crowbar and VR, that's gonna feel
Just beat up these head crabs with the crowbar.
like your friends like stop it, stop, that's enough. And another good thing about this is that it's not exclusive to any VR headset. Because a lot of VR games, it's like for Oculus or only for PlayStation VR or only for whatever
Galaxy. knockoff
Galaxy
VR.
whatever VR you have. Any PC-based VR is compatible with the new Half-Life, with Half-Life Alyx. So I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, definitely. Because when I say like, I'm actually glad Valve is the one kickstarting this whole AAA title VR game in itself. Because so far Valve with Portal, like Half-Life, they all been like revolutionary games
Right.
in its by its own
I mean,
reputation.
Team Fortress is another one.
Oh, definitely
Yeah.
that too. And I don't think they're gonna disappoint.
So let me ask this question to the panel. Will Half-Life 3 finally happen?
I think after this 1.5,
Yep.
they're gonna, if the response is good enough, the people who are the developers, of course, will have the courage to proceed to 3. I think this 1.5 is kind of them testing the waters a bit,
Right.
because I get it, they're scared. The expectations and hype is too real. So if this gets a good response, there might be a possibility that they're gonna actually do something about that cliffhanger.
How about you, Kevin? Is the dream alive again?
We'll see. I like
Say it,
like
yes or no. We
Listen-
want answers.
Listen to your heart.
no. I
Okay.
say no
Okay, he's a non-believer.
Okay,
for now.
he has been scarred too
Yeah.
many times,
I think
too long.
Yeah, I think it's gonna happen.
You think
I
it's
feel
gonna
like
happen?
This is like the first step towards Half-Life 3 actually releasing.
Right.
Because it just feels weird for them to stop with this, right? Because Valve knows people want Half-Life 3.
But they know they're not gonna release games that has 3 on it. So
That is maybe they could call it like Half-Life
2.5.
2.5
Yeah,
or something.
I would play that. Why not? It's 2.5. It's
Yeah,
better
like,
than
that's their
nothing.
way of like maybe they're like cursed by demons that they can never make a
Maybe
game that ends
Gabe
with 3.
Newell just doesn't like the number 3, and he's like, "No, we're not releasing any games with 3 on
And then
it."
the developer's like, how about we call it 2.5? Genius.
Or we just
mar-
insert the number
Good marketing
3.
tactic.
We just do words.
Yeah.
3. It's like, oh,
But I do feel like it's happening. It's a matter of when, I think.
May the dream live on.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of when, not if. But Half-Life 3, it's happening. Book it.
it might happen. But yes,
Take our word for it.
Well, take my word for it. Kevin is a non-believer.
for now.
I'm
but
on
I-
a Utah
You're
stance.
you gotta go either way, yes or no. What do you think?
I am a believer.
Okay, you think it's gonna happen?
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully it happens. I want it to happen, even though I'm not a Half-Life fan.
We all want it to
I'm
happen.
not a Half-Life fan,
I
but
just want people to
wanna
be
try
happy.
it out.
Yeah,
I want to
I
try it
don't,
out.
you know,
I don't even know what the cliffhanger is.
me too. I don't know. I haven't played the games.
Now you know why I'm a non-believer. It scarred me too much.
But I want dreams to happen. So, okay. Now let's move on to the next big topic. I think it's fairly big because this is a
yeah.
pretty big. This is like the Oscars
This
of
time
gaming.
of the year, it's always
The end of the year.
yeah.
People talk. This when people talk about what's your favorite game of 2019. You know.
And then it's when also on YouTube you get a lot of the best games of 2019.
Exactly.
The top
10 games of
yeah,
2019.
of Switch,
Yeah.
PS5, oh no, PS4.
Yeah, and like all these sites start publishing their game of the years.
Yeah. So let's talk about that.
So now we finally had the nominees for the Game Awards, which is the biggest Game Awards show in gaming industry. It's every December. The whole industry gathers in California, I think, I'm assuming. Maybe there'll be correction next week, but for the Game Awards. And the nominees are quite interesting, I would say. So last year's winner was obviously God of War, which was an incredible game. Like it was my game of the year as well.
It's like one of a kind.
It's God of War is
we
such
could,
a
we
good
could
game.
almost say you knew it was gonna happen.
Yeah. The thing about last year was it was like two titans. God of War, Red Dead Redemption 2 were like the two titans competing for game of the year. But I think this year, to be honest, I have no idea who's gonna win. Like there is no clear-cut favorite to win game of the year. So let's start with the biggest. I want to just start with the biggest category, game of the year, the nominees.
Yeah, straight and simple.
So the nominees are Control by Remedy, Death Stranding by Kojima Production, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate by Bandai Namco, sorry.
Whoa.
Wait, what's the word of the day? Bandai?
Bandai Namco and Nintendo. Resident Evil 2 Remake by Capcom, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice by From Software, and The Outer Worlds by Obsidian. I think pretty good quality of games.
That's a very variety. That's a good variety of games right there.
Right. But I think this is one of the first years where there's no favorite to win. I don't see a game that really pops up.
Which game have you played in this list?
I've played 2, Super Smash Brothers and Sekiro. I am gonna get Death Stranding, so I for sure am gonna play that game. Control, I always wanted to try out, but I mean, we'll see if I have time.
I've seen a lot of gameplays of each and every one of these, except Control. I've always wanted to play Resident Evil 2, but you know how I am. I'm really scared.
I mean, I can't even play Resident Evil 2, even if I wanted to.
Yeah,
Play
but
together though.
hopefully in the future, in this podcast or in a subcategory of this podcast, we'll have streaming sessions where the two of us
We'll play horror games.
who are so scared of horror games can play Resident Evil 2 Remake. Because I heard it's really good.
Yeah, and really scary.
It was really scary, but if we're together, I think it's better.
Yeah. Control, I heard, is a very good game because I think Control is about this, like you work for this government department that deals with the supernatural and things go out of control.
Oh, so
And,
another Supernatural?
It's supernatural, but not like horror
Okay,
supernatural.
That's good.
And, Death Stranding.
Everyone knows Death Stranding.
It's like talk of the
Kojima.
town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kojima, Hajima.
Sekiro, I played Sekiro. I've played and finished Sekiro. I beat all the bosses.
And the optional one.
all the optional bosses. One in particular took me 4 hours to beat.
Can you be specific on which boss that was? Was it the butterfly?
No, that was relatively easy.
Relatively
It was
easy?
like the giant demon.
I think there were a lot of giant demons in
No.
Sekiro.
In Sekiro most bosses are like
Like samurai.
samurais. So
and-
because this giant demon felt like a Dark Souls. Because in Dark Souls or Bloodborne, you always face like huge monsters.
And I heard one of the bosses in Sekiro was actually a little different to other bosses in terms of that the mechanic wise, it was much more closer to the Dark Souls
Yeah, 'cause,
rather
like,
than Sekiro.
The whole game, you learn to parry, and this giant beast comes out, and you can't parry his attacks. So like,
You have to relearn.
yeah, you have to play it like Dark Souls. Like you have to
Yeah.
dodge and roll
So
and
I heard a lot of people had trouble with that. It's because suddenly it just came out of the blue and kicked a lot of people's
yeah,
butts.
that's exactly how I felt. It was
No,
so
but
difficult.
you can think of it as more like reality and logic. It's like, oh, big guy, should I parry?
destroy.
you don't parry a big guy's like weapon. You're like, oh, I'm getting out of the way.
You get flattened.
Yeah. Outer Worlds, I think I've always wanted to play Outer Worlds. Obsidian made this game, and they've made one of my favorite games of all time,
Fallout
New Vegas.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, New Vegas. Like
Fallout.
I've put so many hours into Fallout New Vegas.
I've
And
heard so many good things about it. I've never had the honor to try it.
yeah,
I've
I mean,
actually never got into Fallout series.
maybe we should each try to play one game from this list, before the end of the year.
I mean, we all played Super Smash Bros.
Oh,
Okay,
of
then
course.
we already did it.
We already did.
If I had to try something, I would try Control or Death Stranding because I wanted to try Sekiro, but I haven't even gotten to Dark Souls.
All right,
And
you did get Dark Souls for your Switch.
yeah, so I'm trying to get through that, and it's already a drag and a pain. I'm trying to get through the first boss.
Have you
'cause-
even beat the first boss?
No, I kept dying. I'm so frustrated.
I maybe think he's dying on the tutorial boss because that's where I gave up. I was like, no.
No,
No more.
I passed the tutorial boss, and I already passed the skeletons and all that, but I'm almost at the first boss if my memory serves me right. But because I keep dying,
Yeah.
it's just it feels like I'm trying to put myself through torture.
That is
I guess that's
The-
a signature
that is
of
the Souls experience.
the From Software.
Yeah, that is. Even me, when I first played Bloodborne, I played it for like an hour or two, and I stopped playing for 6 months.
Yeah. Remember I told you I
Yeah.
stayed for 6 months, and I'm trying to go back now.
I went back and I beat my first boss, and that's when you get hooked.
Like the adrenaline rush.
Yeah, because like when you beat your first boss, that dopamine that hits you is so strong.
So I'll try to keep going, and then maybe if I get through that, I'll go for
Yeah.
Sekiro.
But I think I'll be playing the Outer Worlds.
Oh,
'cause
yeah.
Obsidian, like
Right.
like you and I said, New Vegas was one of my favorite all time. Like was it RPG games / FPS as well.
You're right.
And all those reviews so far has just had stellar
Mhm.
reviews.
I mean, it is a nominee for Game of the Year.
And
So-
of course, of course.
It makes sense.
It would be really strange if like
if the
it's
game
negative
didn't get
reviews.
stellar reviews and it was nominee, that would be kind of
It's
fishy.
hated so much that it's on the Game of
Yeah.
the Year. They just want it to be hated that much. But yes, I'm definitely give that a go.
Yeah, but like I said, this year's nominees there isn't the typical heavy hitter favorite. I think for like when Breath of the Wild came out that year, everyone was like Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, it was pretty obvious.
Yeah. But this year, there's no obvious choice.
I think it's because all of these games have different like pros and cons. Like everyone has different perceptions of why they're so
Yeah.
great.
But out of all these, what I found the most obvious was probably Death Stranding. Was because in my mind and in my view, Death Stranding was kind of unique in the way it approached the game, and in my mind, that's why it made it onto the Game of the Year. Because I wouldn't say it's a stellar game. A lot of people would disagree with the term of
Yeah, I mean,
stellar
it
game.
has quite a mixed reaction.
Right. A lot of people don't like it. A lot of people do like it.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of two-sidedness.
Yeah.
The FedEx delivery game,
Yeah.
as we said last time.
Yeah, a lot of people. If you look at a lot of the comments, a lot of people are like, imagine a male guy working and he comes back to play Death Stranding. It's like an extension of his job.
Yeah, it's like, why, what are you doing with your life? Why would you do that?
I mean,
Why are you putting yourself through?
actual truck drivers actually play truck simulators. So
Are sure.
So, in my mind, that was one of the most obvious
Yeah.
ones.
And the next category was best game direction, which is the exact same
Yeah,
nominees.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
it makes sense.
It makes sense why best game direction would have the same set of nominees with Game
It
of the
goes
Year.
hand in hand with Game of the Year.
Yeah.
oh, except there's one exception, Outer Wilds. That's the only exception for the best game
Right,
direction.
because in the best
Oh,
Game
right.
of the Year is Outer Worlds,
my
and then
my
best
bad.
game direction is
Yeah.
Outer Wilds.
I always get those two games confused. I think even last week I confused those two games as well.
We apologize for the deficiencies that our
Understandable.
moderator
No,
has
it's
for
fine.
now.
Don't apologize.
No,
Don't show weakness.
we will not show weakness.
don't show any weakness.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that is true. Are you guys familiar with Outer Wilds?
No.
I'm the same boat as you because I'm sure about Outer Worlds, but Outer Wilds, is that an alternate title to Outer Worlds?
No,
But-
because Outer Wilds is a game where you explore space on a spaceship and you're exploring the solar system. And the twist to this game is that you have a limited amount of time to explore the solar system, and then you die because the sun like explodes.
Ooh.
But then every time you die, you keep everything that you explored and you learned, but you start from the beginning again. So I guess the idea is that
Oh, that kind of reminds me of Sunless Seas. Have you heard of that?
no, I'm not aware.
Sunless Sea is kind of like that, except you're like a ship captain and you explore this world. You don't have a time system, but if you die, and most likely you're gonna die because you don't have enough resources, well, you start again, but you start as the legacy of that captain. So basically, you keep all of what you've learned in the past. You keep your ship,
Yeah.
and then you try to get further and further through each death.
Right. So this game is like, I guess you have to solve a mystery. So you get clues and you do things, but as you learn as you like unravel the mystery
Of the solar
of the
system.
solar system, you have to go to multiple tries and you go to multiple planets and you explore each planet. But I heard the game is really, really good. Like it's just a really good game. It's another game I've always wanted to try, but I never got to try.
Is it on PC?
Yes, it's
Okay.
on PC.
Then I'll probably try.
It's an indie game.
Okay.
So it should be fairly cheaper than your AAA game.
Average AAA game, which
Yeah.
is like $69.
I think it should be like $40.
Okay, reasonable.
Yeah. And
Next category.
yeah, we can talk about other categories too.
Yeah.
Any category that pops up?
I think we should talk about the best. Ooh, so many categories.
Best action, I guess.
Oh yeah, well, let's start
Yeah,
with best
maybe
action.
best action game. So the nominees are Apex Legends, Astral Chain, Call of Duty Modern Warfare. I think Call of Duty gets nominated every year for
Yeah.
best action game.
Shills, money, so much money.
I mean, apparently it was actually a good game. Like
Oh, yeah.
Modern Warfare is good.
Yeah, definitely.
Devil May Cry 5,
Capcom.
Gears 5, and Metro Exodus.
I think I should. If I had to nominate, then I'll have to go for Metro Exodus.
You played the game, right?
I did not play. Oh yeah, I did play
Yeah, you played-
Exodus, but I didn't finish it.
Okay.
But it's a really good game.
Is it? Yeah.
Because usually the previous iterations of Metro, 2038 and then Last Light, it was more linear. The world was more linear.
Mhm.
They gave a illusion of open world, but it doesn't.
But this one is different.
Yeah, it's like you can move a bit more freely, and it actually shows like the post-apocalyptic nuclear wasteland of Russia. And I think Exodus should be one of the top best. It should be winning the award for best action game.
Yeah, because if I look through this list, I mean, Devil May Cry 5, I played the demo. I played all Devil May Cry games except for 5.
Mm-hmm.
And you've always given high praise for Devil May Cry.
Mm-hmm. And Devil May Cry 5 is well regarded as well. It has a lot of good reviews. I mean, obviously that's why it's nominated, but
I'm not surprised Apex Legends is up there because I played it a few hours and I watched this on Twitch
mhm.
a lot, and I like the system. It's kind of has that Fortnite PUBG kind of vibe, except it's cooler, better graphics, a lot more mechanics,
Yeah, it's a
interesting
game.
characters.
I think it's a game you can get into immediately.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of a mix between Overwatch and kind of PUBG in that you have individual characters where they have individual
Right,
skills.
their powers.
Right. Because PUBG, you're just a human being and you
Yeah.
try to collect guns.
I mean, your equipment is what matters in PUBG.
Right. And what I liked about Apex Legends is that there is no fall damage, if I remember correctly.
Right, yeah, you can just like jump.
Yeah. So I hated taking damage when I fall because I fall a lot. So I think that's one of the best aspects of Apex Legends.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to pick a game that will win, maybe I think Devil May Cry 5 or Metro Exodus.
Oh, why is that? Like, is there a reason why?
Because I just think Devil May Cry 5 is like it's like a resurgence of a franchise. Because Devil May Cry 5 is always known as the action game. Like when you think of like fancy combos and stylistic gameplay, it's always like Devil May Cry. He's like the origin. And based on like what everyone says, I wouldn't be surprised if DMC5 won best action game. So let's move on to another category, maybe best action adventure game.
Oh yeah, I think we should have a talk about that one.
Borderlands 3.
So yeah, Borderlands 3, Control, Death Stranding, Resident Evil 2 Remake, Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening, and Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice.
I've heard of a Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening on Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, it's a remake of the Game Boy game.
Yeah, I wanted to buy it, but it is a little pricey. So
It is because it's a remake of a Game Boy game, and they don't really add anything to,
It's
to the
just-
game. It's
yeah.
like a faithful remake with
right.
updated graphics.
It
and the
looks
engine.
good.
But it looks really, really
Yeah,
good.
it looks good. And because I played Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, I do want to try it, but maybe for a later date.
Yeah, I just find it interesting that Death Stranding, I guess it's an adventure game. I mean, I don't know why they say best action game, and then the next category is like best action adventure game. Maybe they should call it best adventure game.
Yeah. I mean, maybe action and adventure together.
Yeah.
I mean, Death Stranding does have some action,
Yeah,
and
some.
it does have a story.
Yeah.
A lot of people
I
say the
mean-
story's really good.
I mean, delivering your goods is still part of action, right? Like it's how you define action
life.
in the first place.
Yeah. I mean, nothing really stands out about the nominations. I think it's all fairly expected. Nothing really surprising.
Let's go on to best RPG.
Okay,
Ooh.
this is interesting
Yeah,
because
I like these ones.
so the nominees are Disco Elysium, which I heard you're gonna play fairly soon and give your impressions on it.
Yeah, thanks to my two buddies here.
Or maybe a viewer.
Oh,
that
could be a
donated.
viewer that
Oh,
donated.
maybe.
You never know. Final Fantasy 15. No, my bad.
XIV. What's XIV?
Isn't that
14.
Is that 14?
14.
That's 14.
Man,
I do not know
getting my Roman
numerals.
numerals mixed up.
Nah,
Final Fantasy 14,
Kingdom Hearts 3.
Kingdom Hearts 3, Monster Hunter World, Iceborne, the expansion to Monster Hunter World, and obviously the Outer Worlds.
Right.
It'd be weird if Outer Worlds was nominated for Game of the Year, but not nominated for its own category.
Monster Hunter World. You've given a lot of praise for Monster Hunter World.
I put around 60 hours into the base game.
Yeah, I remember you always playing on Steam.
I play on my PS4.
Oh. That's what I meant.
But yeah, Monster Hunter World it's a really good game, but I haven't played Iceborne because I've sort of weaned off playing Monster Hunter World.
How come?
Because
Too much grind?
It's gonna take a good portion of your life.
yeah,
That's
it
what
does.
I do know.
Monster Hunter World is the type of game where you just have to like really sink your time into, because there are people like I have a friend who played Monster Hunter World for like 200 hours.
So he's no longer your friend.
I mean, 200 hours compared to some of our associates here.
Right.
it's
I mean, I know someone
amateur
who played
numbers.
Rust for 1,000 hours. he or she may not be named. I will not name that person, but
I mean, we're all he, so the
Yeah.
she would have to be eliminated. But you know,
You never know.
but the game that really stands out is Disco Elysium.
Yeah. I
'Cause-
think a lot of people have heard about it recently.
Yeah, because it's indie game that's so. The concept of this game is so crazy.
It's
and
kind
out
of
this
like
world.
it's in the category of Death Stranding in that it is so unique in concept.
It
so
is.
what's the premise of the game? Like, what is it about?
Okay, let me try to explain this, but it's a noir detective game. So you play as this detective, this alcoholic who's like depressed or whatever he is. Like, you know, he has problems in his life. It's an RPG game. It's like a text-based, story-focused RPG game. I don't think there's not that much action. It's all dependent on your choices you make, what you say. But the thing that differentiates this game from other games is like the stats you put.
And the
Oh.
talent tree.
Yeah. So for example, one stat. So I think in the beginning of the game you pick like one stat you're good at, and like one of the stats could be like empathy.
A bit deep.
Or
That's
like
not your regular
yeah.
skill.
There's even like I was listening to another podcast and he was saying how his main stat he put on was conceptualization. Was the stat he put.
Is that even a stat?
When you start the game and you see all these like conceptualization, empathy, you don't even
Like
know.
Spirit the Core is another stat you could put
Wait,
into.
so it's not like what you expect from a base actual game, like intelligence check or anything, but just weird stats.
it's like
that's
reasoning.
it.
Reasoning is one.
Yeah, so
Oh.
you don't
Encyclopedic knowledge is another
you
stat.
don't know what you can expect. You don't know what you
Aiming
can
for
expect.
the toilet, 0.
So like the idea of this game is you guys are familiar with the movie Inside Out.
Yeah.
Of how, like,
yes.
Each emotion has like a personality
Yep.
that talks to you. They argue with each other. That game is like that. So each of your quirks or your stats talk.
Oh.
So the more points you put in, the more stronger
Your
it
voice
gets.
is.
So they're like your Gemini crickets, basically.
Yeah. So
but
like if
there's
you put a lot
hundreds
into
of them.
empathy, your empathy voice would be louder and stronger.
Oh.
So it'll give you extra choices when you're
Yeah.
in dialogue.
Right.
So you'll
Oh.
feel more towards
Exactly.
something.
So for example, if your reasoning is your strongest skill, and you have like you go through maybe like a puzzle or a logic based thing, your reasoning will help you out. Like, okay, maybe this you should do this or you should do this. But if your reasoning is low,
Conceptualization. Oh, it's a box. What else?
the box looks like because like I think the idea of conceptualization, because like it's kind of weird when you play this game and then you look at the stats like, what the heck does what is this?
is food. It has nutrients. Oh yes.
So the idea of conceptualization apparently is that you see art in everything. That's how the in-game explanation of
So
it.
the art degree major, the like okay.
So,
okay,
like-
okay, we got it.
Like, for example, I
Those
think
people who look at blank pages and like a tear kind of drops
Yeah.
out.
so. Like, I think one example was like you see a blood splatter, the conceptualization voice will say like, oh, it looks like a Rorschach or something, or like I don't know.
That's so interesting.
Yeah. So like it helps you see things in different perspectives.
So in that way, this game has a lot of replayability in that different skills will give you different outcomes, different choices, and different voices.
Right. It is a wild game.
Well, so like the possibilities are endless, especially with the stats. I'm
Yeah.
actually gonna play this game.
Yeah,
now.
it's
Yeah.
crazy. This game is mind blowing. How
All right.
yeah. So
Maybe next week or next week after I play it, I'll
Yeah.
be able to give a review on it and
Right.
what I think of it, and
Mhm.
maybe spoil it for you two.
oh please don't do this. Let's move on to another top category, best fighting game.
Yeah.
But
It's
yeah,
very typical of best fighting game. The only game that sort of made me double
Has
take
to be.
Jump Force.
Yeah.
no, also Samurai Showdown. We do have to mention that. The Samurai Showdown was supposedly one of the oldest arcade games that was really big in its time.
Yeah, but it's a good game though. Like what made Jump Force sort of made me double take was it sucks. Apparently, it's not a good game.
But the trailer,
I mean, all the anime characters, Naruto fighting Deku. Whoa!
oh,
Man, makes my heart jump.
but look at Goku. He can just wipe them all off.
But I just feel like because there's so few fighting games that come out every year, it was like just put it in there, just like
Fill
whatever.
in the space.
Like for the anime fans, we gotta get in the anime fans in.
But I think the anime fans would just see it as an insult. Like, what? How dare you? What is this?
I
You
think
stop pandering to us.
the Mortal Kombat is a no brainer.
I mean, sure,
Um,
Super Smash
Super
Bros.
Smash
Ultimate,
Bros.,
of
yeah.
course.
It has to be there.
I mean, yeah, it's an. I mean, we've had
A lot
Super
of
Smash
a
Bros.
lot of
parties
playthroughs. Yes.
I
That
think
takes me back.
for hours and hours.
Yeah, we haven't had that in a while.
Yeah, maybe someday we should have it.
Yeah.
Yes. One day we should.
Best family game was interesting because all the nominees
Oh.
are Nintendo games, which kind of shows.
It kind of shows Nintendo's branding
Yeah, it
and
does.
image. I mean, Nintendo
Of course.
is a family
Mhm.
friendly console.
But you know how we talked about Google Stadia last week? Maybe if there was Mortal Kombat, we'd all be surprised. Like, oh, wow.
Whoa, play with my mother. Yeah, Luigi's Mansion 3.
Yeah, I mean, it's all good games, but it's just all Nintendo games. So I guess other companies gotta step up in their family-oriented
You
games.
know, after I grew up, I've never been really into Super Mario's. So when a lot of people say like Super Mario Maker, you know how you can make maps and things.
You
and
make
can
levels, yeah,
right,
right.
and then you can share with other people.
Mhm.
I've never been into that. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really the type to like create things. Like,
Yeah.
I get overwhelmed.
I mean, there's
With-
Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Yeah.
I mean,
you-
but
do you guys
Roller
play
Coaster-
that?
Yeah, but I mean, you create that for yourself. You don't create it for other people. I think the whole point of this is you're able to share your levels with other people so that they
and
can
try
beat it.
and try.
I mean, you
other-
can do
other
that in roller
people's
coaster
levels.
as well.
Yeah,
Like,
sure.
what was that meme? Like, I want to get off this Mr. Bones Wild Ride. that's a sharing
I'm
feature.
sure, right? Yes, and then best strategy game. Anything pops up because you played Total War 3 Kingdom, right?
Yeah, great game.
I do know all of these titles. The Age of Wonders. It's supposedly a twist for the Heroes of Might and Magic. A similar element to Heroes
Mhm.
of Might and Magic, but a little bit different.
The thing I don't like about Heroes of Might and Magic, since you brought it up,
Mhm.
Heroes of Might is because Heroes. I have a game. I think Heroes of Might and Magic 5.
Oh, you should not play that. It has a very bad reputation.
Oh, does it?
It's not great.
My goodness, I can't even start it.
Because of
I can literally not start the game because
Like-
after the update, I couldn't start it anymore.
as in like
Oh.
as in like it doesn't launch.
Yeah, and
Oh, it
when you
doesn't-
look
I
at-
thought you
I
meant,
thought you didn't want to touch it.
yeah, I thought like it's so
No.
bad you couldn't play.
Like, I want to play because
Okay.
I have like 6 minutes on it.
Uh-huh.
But the thing is, when I launch it, my computer crashes, and it's not because of my computer. Because when you look on Steam like reviews, a lot of people are saying they can't even start the game, and I can't even refund it. It's because it's been like, I don't know, 6 months since I bought it.
Oh right. I mean, it's too late now.
That's because what I heard from the refund policy is 2 weeks and a few hours. And,
Okay.
Mm.
I mean, okay.
But
Yeah.
and then Anno 1800. I want to play that. I'm a really fan of like civilization building and management, village simulations.
Right.
So I want to play that. Fire Emblem Three Houses. I've heard you play that.
Yeah, it's incredible. I love Fire Emblem. It's like my type of game because I love games where you like bonds matter in this game. Like I love games.
So companions.
Yeah, I love games with like companionship or friendship
Persona,
or like
right?
personality. Like you build up bonds with characters. So like Persona 5, I love Persona 5. Mass Effect, I love Mass Effect. Any RPG game where you can bond with people, I give it to me because that's my type of game.
The last I heard from it was you were in the latter half.
Yeah,
Did you finish?
right now I'm like probably, if I would guess, 5 hours from finishing the game. So
Oh,
I'm fairly close.
So you're in the phase where you're like, I don't want to finish the game. It's so good. I don't want the story to end.
But at the same time, I want to know what happens.
But if you stop playing, the story never ends. So your fantasy always continues.
But like the thing is, Fire Emblem is a really good game. I'm just not sure if it's a good strategy game. You know what I'm saying? Because the game doesn't really require a lot of strategy.
I mean, maybe your your knowledge and stats is very important, and certain
Sure.
attacks.
But there does come a point where your main character is so overpowered.
Oh,
He just like one shots every single enemy. You could just send him by himself and just kill the whole army.
so just like grinding your Pikachu in the first
yeah,
stage.
it's like it's like the Pokemon problem where
Oh, electricity versus rock, no problem. My
Yeah, one
Pikachu's
shot, thunder
level
shot.
25.
it's because like your main character is always gonna be in your party.
Uh-huh.
And
He always levels up.
yeah, but then your other main character, you switch it up like depending on what you
Okay.
need. Like if you need healing or need like more archers or need more like cavalry, whatever. But your main character is always gonna be in the front line.
I guess that's more of a late game issue, though.
Yeah, it is. Like early mid game, it's whatever.
It's fairly fine.
Yeah,
Okay.
you do actually think about like, oh, should I put him here?
Late game, you don't care.
Like, just send him out. Like go.
So maybe the late game
Destroy
issue
everyone.
I might also see is like maybe the monsters themselves just have a bigger health pool and then that's it. Maybe? Or the mechanics
Yeah,
different?
like the AI isn't even that
complicated.
complicated. It's a fairly simple strategy game. Like there isn't very much to think about. It's just all about how much stronger your unit is compared to the enemy
I
unit.
mean, a lot of these games revolve around the rock paper scissors mechanic.
Yeah, exactly. I think Fire Emblem sort of de-emphasized that. They do still have it, as in like archers destroy like flying units,
And cavalry destroys archers.
Yeah, stuff like that. But it's not as pronounced as previous Fire Emblem
I
games.
never got why archers can kill flying units because if you're like on some if you're flying and archers can go or like arrows can only go so high, you'll be like, yeah, I'm just gonna fly
You
over
just
here.
go higher. hey, I don't know why I do. Why is that? Explain yourself, please.
I just don't get it sometimes.
So another game is Total War 3 Kingdoms. You play that game?
Yeah, I love it. When it has, you have a thing for story driven.
Yeah.
I have a thing for China. So if it has something to do with China, give it to me. Total War 3 Kingdoms, I think it's arguably one of the best Total War games to date.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people would agree with me. The graphics, it's something to boast about. It's great. Total War games has always grasped me in terms of graphics. The war aspect itself is great. What I've always had a little of a beef with Total War franchises in the past was the political system was a little lackluster, but now it's very fleshed out. There's a lot of depth to it. The thing that you have to trade off with depth is there is a lot of micromanagement in Total War 3 Kingdoms, but that goes into later in the game where you do have to control a lot of villages, you have to control a lot of troops. But there is that aspect where if you have one really strong OP army, that can kind of wreck everything else as well.
Okay.
Because they also gain experience. So all those guys who've been surviving for like 50 years, you're like, oh!
Yeah, there's this thing in Total War. It's like one of your cities get destroyed, and then you're like, okay, wait until my main army gets here.
Yeah. So you wait. Like you drag your army halfway across China, and you destroy him.
It happens way too many times. It's just like, my main is gonna come over now. Just wait.
Just you wait. Yeah, that happens a lot in Total War. But
Okay. But
it's-
you'd say it's well deserved.
it's well deserved. You know how I've been always talking about Total War, where I want there to be more impact in the crushing
Right.
between the armies. I've been telling you constantly, like when I play Rome, I'm like, there's no impact. All these midgets are just standing around, like staring at each other. But in this one, you can actually feel the impact of the cavalry charge.
Okay.
So I love it.
I mean, yeah. And then Tropical 6 and War Groove round out the nominees. Anything? I think maybe best multiplayer game.
Yeah,
Kind of
definitely.
interesting. I mean, I think when you watched the nominee video together, you were like, "What's Tetris 99?"
But then you reminded me what it was.
Yeah, the battle royale. I've
Uh,
actually played that game. It's actually quite fun. But like I'm not good at Tetris, so
Yeah, this last Tetris multiplayer game I played was a Facebook where you can go against other people.
oh right,
in Tetris.
I played
And
that
then
game.
we
too.
all played that,
Yeah, I played that game.
and I was very bad.
I mean, Tetris is surprisingly a hard
Yeah,
game.
but Tetris 99 is free with a
Uh,
Nintendo Online subscription.
Do you have a Nintendo Online?
I had it for like free. I had like a free trial period,
Mm.
Okay.
so I actually did try Tetris 99. It's fun. I never reached number 1 because people are just insanely good at the game, and
Yeah. I
like
mean,
I have
if,
no
if
chance.
you look at a lot of the people who get to number one, they're like,
yeah, there's like it's like stacking things so
yeah,
quickly.
you can't even see their hands.
But like the others, Apex Legends, Borderlands 3, Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, as
Tom
expected.
Clancy, The Division. I love
Division
I
2.
love Tom Clancy.
Yeah, so pretty typical. Just Tetris 99 is just the one that sticks out because it's not a shooter. It's the only non-shooter in this.
Wow, it's like multiplayer, no, non-FPS. What is this alien?
Yeah, and yeah, I think for the other categories,
That's
You
pretty
know.
self-explanatory.
yeah, I mean, we're not really that familiar with esports in general.
We'll just be kicking ourselves in the butt.
Like we don't want to make a fool of ourselves talking about esports. Okay, so that's it for gaming news, and we'll take a short break, and we'll come back with game impressions.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so we're back from our break.
That was a
Very
that was a good
refreshing break. As you can see, we all have cups of water in our hands.
And they're made of paper.
Yeah, let's all take a
Environmentally
nice
friendly.
sip of our
Environment
water. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Very refreshing.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that we got the gaming news out of the way, let's talk about game impressions.
Game impressions.
And who wants to start it off?
I think I'll start off this
Okay.
time. So I played a side-scrolling / management / resource management game called Kingdom. Not Kingdom, it's called Kingdom New Land. So you can think of it like maybe like a I don't know if it's like expansion or DLC, but I played it. It's like
It's an indie game, right?
Yeah, it's set in a medieval environment, and what you do is you're on a horse. It's either gonna be a random generation of a king or a queen, and what you do on a horse. These are the only keys you need to know. The keyboard has the up, down, left, right, right? You don't use the up. You only use the down and the left and the right. And that is to move your character. That is the only thing you need to know. And also, the main point of this game is to manage your so-called civilization. So what
Or
you do is
Kingdom, right?
yeah. So the resource you have are coins, right? And in this small little town you start off, it's a campfire first in the beginning. And what happens is like every day you earn a certain portion of coins. There are actually, I think there are 3 core workers. So one would be the farmers, and one would be the archers, and next would be the builders. And you have to prioritize these workers based on what you need at the time being. Because the most important part with this game, because I was playing it, I did not know anything about it, was that there are these creatures that comes to attack your village every few nights, and you have to have some sort of defense to actually hold them off. Because once they overrun your village and your character, the whole point of these evil beings is that they have to, I think, destroy your town, also capture your crown. Once they capture your crown, it's game over. So you have to make sure your village is safe, and then all your resources are well maintained. And you have to actually travel further away from your kingdom to get more resources or like get recruits. So you hold down like I think a down key, and then you can give a coin or more coins based on what kind of upgrade you get. Like if there's a plank of wood as a wall, then you want to upgrade that, then it's gonna be 3 coins this time. So you hold it down until 3 coins have been satisfied, and then your purse like icon also shows based on how many coins you have. So it's like also real life, but not real life at the same time, because it shows like money management. It's like how do you manage your money, but in a game. But this time, your life and all the people's lives in this medieval simulator game, side-scrolling game matters.
So like what? So you upgrade walls and
You upgrade walls. You just expand your village.
and you get more people. You
Yeah.
recruit people.
Yeah.
And the way you get money is it through killing monsters?
No, either not the monsters. So there'll be either like animals, like bunnies or deers, and the archers would sometimes kill the bunnies and deers. based on how close they are, proximity
So
wise.
you send those archers out, right?
No, they just do it randomly. They're just
Oh.
like just do whatever NPCs do.
Oh, but you have to hire them.
Yeah, basically. And those cost 2 coins. And they're also the farmers too. The farmers are more expensive, 4 coins. I need to build a certain building for the farmers to actually cut the wheat and stuff.
But if you pay for the farmers, do they actually self-manage?
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
And I think it's a pretty simple game, but I think there's also a goal. Like what you do is like you're in the first area. I finished the first area yesterday because what I did was there was a shipwreck and I didn't know what it was, but it was very expensive. Like, okay, let's start investing. Next thing I know, the workers start coming to a ship and I was, oh, okay, they're doing something. And after it was finished, they started pushing the ship to a certain direction. So I was thinking, oh, okay, let's just see where this goes. Next thing I know, I finished the stage. I was like, oh, so this is how it ends.
Is there a story, or is it just like?
I think just moving area to area. Like
Okay.
first you have to locate the ship after you explore like the either way. And then basically what you do is just secure that area, make sure there are walls and such so you can move your ship safely. Because
Mhm.
what happens if the monsters like kill one of your NPCs or whatever? They're gonna be hobos again. So you have to rehire them.
they just become hobos.
Yeah, literal hobos. They just like walk around doing nothing.
Okay.
So you have to rehire them, and then just rehiring them is 1 coin. And then you know how I said like just hiring these 3 core workers, farmers, whatever. They cost coins too. So the construction worker are 3 coins, bowmen are 2 coins, and the farmers are 4 coins. So losing a farmer is the worst, but usually they're the most secure. But usually you lose the construction workers the most, and every time you're like, why do they have to go out and just be
Gotta
stupid?
get more hobos.
Get more hobos, man.
So like literal hobos, and
It's like they're like warriors and they kill a monster, and then they like they become hobos.
oh, but there's a thing. Sometimes they actually die, but other
Yeah,
times they
right.
just become hobos, and you're
They
like,
just become
oh,
hobos.
okay.
I'm done.
I guess they just strip them off of everything, and like humility is the best form of like a killing or something like that. I
I've
guess.
actually never heard of this game, Kingdom. Do you recommend it?
I would say if you have nothing better to. Oh wait, no. Actually, I did find the artwork very charming and very
It looks
simple.
good though. I like the art style.
Yeah, nothing too much to remember. It's just you can think of like, oh, manage my resources to survive the night and
Mhm.
just see stuff.
So you can't, if you keep moving from area to area, you can't really like expand on your kingdom, right? Or maybe.
Oh, you can like building a wall
Yeah.
and then upgrading the wall and then a watchtower.
Because I just
just
want to know like
slowly
how
expanding.
big you can make it. Like, can you make like a huge castle?
Yeah, you can do it until the end of the map,
Yeah.
but that'll be really hard because by then the monsters will probably overrun you. So what
So,
your
yeah.
your goal is to finish the ship and then
Yeah.
push it out into the sea.
Maybe the later areas you can build like huge structures, maybe, because that seems appealing. I like,
Oh yeah,
I like
definitely.
making my kingdom bigger.
yeah,
Yeah.
like make it cooler and more expansive and
Because when I went to the second area, I my wooden walls I could upgrade to stone walls and such. Oh wow, they have stone walls too. So it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I will recommend if it's not too expensive on Steam as well, and you could just.
I think it was free on Epic Game Store because I have it on my Epic.
well not anymore.
I mean, sure, not anymore.
not anymore.
But
so.
for people who had the opportunity to get it, like it's something you can. I'm interested. Like maybe I'll check it out because
Yeah, just a few hours
I
and
mean,
you
we've always had a
yeah.
thing for management games.
right.
Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Right. I can talk about my game that I've been
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
playing. I was actually playing a lot of Odyssey, as you know,
Mhm.
back I've been playing for 2 weeks, but I did get a little burned out. 'Cause
Okay.
I was doing the same thing, so I wanted to just leave it for like a week or two and then come back to it later. So this week I was actually playing The Forest.
So what is the forest?
The Forest is not what you would expect, or at least it's not what I expected. You know how I hate horror games? A lot of people say Forest is kind of like a thriller horror game because when you are, it starts out like this. First, you're on this plane, and then your character's name is Eric, and then you're with your son Timmy,
Timmy.
and then you're just Timmy's sleeping.
What a name though, Timmy. Man, that's like
It was like South Park. That's the first thing I realized. Timmy. It's like Timmy.
And then you're sitting with your son, and then he's sleeping, and then it sounds all normal and peaceful until the plane starts shaking. And the funny thing is, when the plane starts shaking, you can still look around. And I was looking at my son, and he was like, so I was like, what? I think he's dead already. I think he's dead. And then you
for
crash.
for listeners. Jun was flailing his arms around like a rag doll.
Yeah, like a rag doll. So he was literally a rag doll, and then like the cutscene like cuts out is because you kind of blacked out, and then you're on the ground and you kind of like blurrily open your eyes and you see like this torso naked kind of cannibal like creature, like a human creature, take your son away. You can see him pick him up, and I don't have any strength, so I'm reaching for him, and I can take him. And that's the whole premise of the story. You don't know anything else. And then you wake up, you're in this plane, you grab some supplies like pills, medicine, you eat some food, and then you grab this axe that is stuck on a flight attendant.
Okay, that's pretty gruesome.
Yeah, so you take it out, and then I tried swinging it. I didn't even know if it was possible, so I swung at the flight attendant, and it seems I could strip her.
Okay.
So I took her clothes.
Oh,
Were it for like any?
I mean,
for survival, or was it just for?
cross-dressing is, I guess that's a thing. It's intimidation.
I didn't know it was possible, but I could strip her, so
Okay.
I did. I mean, who knows? I might need a better clothes.
Sure, right? Okay.
+2 to charm.
Charm those monsters.
And then you come out, and the game barely holds your hand. It is a survival open world game where you're trying to survive in this mysterious island. You don't even know what's there. I didn't even know there were cannibals until like the second night.
So they're different from the monsters.
Yes.
Okay, so they're cannibals and they're monsters.
No, the monsters are kind of like mutants. I wouldn't call them monsters. It's more like mutants because they do have human characteristics like legs and arms sticking out.
If you see mutant in real life, you're gonna scream monster. Like I don't care.
Okay.
Those are monsters.
Yeah, they're not like X-Men, you know.
I guess. But I didn't know why it was so scary because I played a lot of survival game like Rust. Rust is a survival game.
Mm-hmm.
But I got why it was scary. It was because at night you hear these howls like oh, like ow.
Okay.
And at first I thought it was wolves or something. And then I saw this guy staring at me. And
Okay, that's scary.
the thing that's scary about this game is since the game doesn't hold your hand much, you don't know what to do. You know you have to gather resources and you have an axe. So you gather resources by like chopping trees. And then there's food around you. So you have to make things. And then I ate this berry and it hurt me. And apparently it was a poisonous berry. So I was like, okay, I shouldn't eat that anymore. And then the funny thing is, you know how when we learn things, we have to look at it, right? In the game, you literally just look at something for 5 seconds, and it says you learned about a new species.
Oh,
That's so interesting.
that is interesting. Yeah.
And then the crafting system is very unique. It's because you have this kind of package kind of like thing where everything you have in your inventory is laid out, and then you can craft different items. You don't even know what to craft is because you have to put everything together, and then sometimes you discover new things. Sometimes you don't know what to do. 2 sticks makes like a spear, and you could add like a rock and a rope in order to make an enhanced spear.
Wait, 2 sticks makes a spear.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Interesting.
And then so you have to try to survive, but at the
Okay.
same time, it's not like you can just stay in one place. The whole point is not to just stay in one place, but to try to find your son, Timmy. And the way you do that is you craft your items and try to go around the island in order to look for the missing passengers and look for your son and clues to finding him. And because you're looking for your son, that would eventually lead to you confronting or having conflicts with these mutants and cannibals. I haven't gotten too far into the game. I'm around 4 or 5 hours in. I got my own house. I have my own
You
bonfire.
build a house?
I built a house, and
Give me a hole in the wall.
thankfully,
Like a house with like walls and a roof.
yes, but I built
Okay.
it. I built a tree house because I'm really scared.
Okay.
I didn't want to fight them on the ground.
You can build tree houses.
Yes, so
Okay, that's interesting.
I built a tree house because of the fact that I died once, and the reason why I died once was because I saw these cannibals. Right. The thing that's really, really scary about these cannibals is they're not going to attack you.
They just look at you.
They just look at you. And I tried to go to them, right? I have my axe, I'm blocking, and I'm walking toward them. They walk back when you approach
Okay.
them. So I'm like, why are they walking back? Why are they attacking me? And then I run to them, and they're like, and then they run back. Yeah,
That's kind of scary.
yeah. And then what happens is they run back, and about 1 or 2 days later, they bring warriors to you. So that was like a scouting team.
Wow. That's cool.
And then those warriors, they don't let up. They just scratch you and all that. And then I had to defend myself. And then I killed one, but I accidentally got killed by one, right? And I thought that was game over. But suddenly I was tied up in this cave.
What a twist.
What a twist. So I was like, okay, fine, I died. But I was actually tied up in this cave. And the cave is kind of like a dungeon system for the forest. So you can actually get a lot of the things you need, for example, batteries, in those caves. And you need them to make like bombs and all that. So that's actually where I played until I didn't explore the cave. It was because it was just so scary. It was really dark. But maybe next week, if I play a little more, I'll tell you a little bit more about those mutants. But
but I'm actually quite riveted by your story.
I mean, I did play the alpha actually,
Yeah.
and they have updated a lot, but I haven't played it.
It has. But a lot of people have been telling me the cannibals are just so realistic. They act like humans.
Maybe if you killed the scout team, they wouldn't have come.
Or you could be like me, just there's like abandoned boat. What I did was build around the abandoned boat by the sea. So the warriors are like, what should we do? Because back in Alpha they're like, oh, water bad. We know go water.
Yeah, I never
Okay.
did. I never found that.
All right. So I've been playing. I'll talk about 2 games. One, I've been playing Witcher 3 for quite some time. I've actually just been focusing on improving my house because I love improving, and it's so expensive. So I've actually been forced to do like side quests, and there's this one side quest where you help build a huge 50-foot statue, which I've been focusing on because I do love stuff where you improve, I love quests where it changes the environment.
Where you make an impact in the
Yeah,
world.
you change the world in some way, and so I was just focusing on that quest, and improving your house just feels so fulfilling. Like you feel so good about yourself, and you see like this horrible broken down house, and then as you invest more money into it, you get like paintings.
Majestic.
Yeah, you get like this. You can like display your armor and your weapons, and you buy paintings and put it around your house, and you can like, oh, I improved the house.
Just sit there and just
Yeah.
look at all the
Like,
work you've
it's-
done.
I mean that's like your dad, like he puts in money into the family, and then slowly he sees like his things grow, like the children.
Yeah.
It's like, oh wow, it's
So
like a game.
Yeah, so you can focus on improving the house or like the rest of your land. I guess like maybe improve the garden or stable. But I've been focusing the house. Like you can improve the guest room, and once you improve the guest room, you have like guests who come over to your place of different characters,
Mhm.
like Siri or other characters like that.
Like Grandma Sam.
Yeah, Grandma Sam, Bob the Meatloaf, and like man, I just love like I have like so much. I have this like in my box. There's so much legendary swords that I don't use anymore, and you can just like display them on your house. Oh, it feels so good. Like there's a term called take a knee, which is just like take a knee and just appreciate the environment, or just take it all in. And with Witcher 3, it's like every 30 minutes I'm just taking a knee because
Oh, but national anthem is not playing during the time, right?
okay. Oh, let's not get too political here. So yeah, but I haven't played that much of Witcher 3, but I'm still like playing it quite frequently or consistently.
Are any of the swords on fire?
No, unfortunately,
Okay, that's
no
good.
swords on
Because
fire.
like
That's
you just
not a-
like
that's not as cool.
it's like
as
an
me.
ornament. It's on fire. It's like, oh, why is the house not on fire? This is very
I mean,
funny.
in Zelda, you can have a house and you can display
the
swords,
flaming sword.
and and the ones there are like I think 3 spots to display your weapons
Like swords, shields,
and
bows.
bows. Right. For swords, I just put the flame sword, the ice sword, and the thunder sword
Me too.
because it looks the flashiest.
Yeah.
I don't know what the house is made out of, but it's damn
Yeah.
damn sturdy.
But another game I want to talk about is I've been replaying Kingdom Hearts 1, the
Wow.
OG Kingdom Hearts game. So
How was it?
so I bought this collection called Kingdom Hearts Story So Far, which is every single Kingdom Hearts game except for 3 in 2 discs. It was like for $40. So I was like, hey, it was like what, 7 games for $40?
That's like hours and hours of entertainment.
And I'm a huge Kingdom Hearts fan. I played Kingdom Hearts 1 when I was like in elementary school. Elementary or middle school. I can't quite remember. But when I played the first Kingdom Hearts, I was like, because I love Disney. I'm a huge Disney fan. I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan.
So you're saying you could not let it go.
Please do it some other time, not now. So, Kingdom Hearts, for viewers who are not familiar, or maybe you guys aren't familiar with Kingdom Hearts, it's this world where Disney characters and Final Fantasy characters are living in this one universe. So you're the main character. You have a keyblade, which is like a sword shaped as a key, and your job is to sort of be the protector of all the worlds. So you go to different worlds. Like you go to Tarzan world, or you go to Alice in Wonderland, or you go to Hercules world. So that's like the basic premise of the game. And there are these enemies called Heartless, and they try to destroy worlds by going to the heart of each world and use your keyblade. You can like lock the heart from being accessed by looking for the keyhole of each world. You know, it's a very Japanesey game. The writing is very Japanesey. They talk about darkness and light and having the heart and friendship and stuff like that. So it's a very typical Japanese game. But there's this one part in the game where it made me think about old game design, or maybe Japanese game design, because after the sort of tutorial world, which is like the main character's home world, and then it gets destroyed by these Heartless, and he gets like thrown into this other town world. So this is basically the first world where you actually can sort of explore, and you just like explore the world. You know, you go through different areas. It's not even that big. Like there are like 4 or 5 different areas that you can access. But the thing that made me sort of think about game design in general was the game wants you to go to every single area of this world. So every time you go to a new area, a cutscene sort of plays where, because like Donald and Goofy are sent. It's just kind of weird. Like Donald and Goofy, why are they there? But like Donald and Goofy are sent to look for the Keyblade Master, and you are the Keyblade Master. You're the Keyblade holder. So, but the main character doesn't know that. So it's kind of like setting up this thing where you go to this part, and then Donald and Goofy come out from this other part, and like, where is he? And you go to another area, and Donald and Goofy come out like this other part of the room, and like, whoa, where did he go? So you go to every area, and that cutscene plays, right? And then once you go to every area, nothing happens. And there was this part where I was just like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I've been to every single area. So I would spend hours just walking to each area,
Finding
like what the heck I should do, because like nothing's happening. I was like, okay, I give up. So I was fighting Heartless all the time, because each area they respawn and you kill them and you get money. So I was just like, okay, I give up. I'll just go to the store and see what I can do with my money. And you go to the store, you spend some on like gear or maybe an accessory, and then when you leave the store, is how you progress the story.
Oh, did you have that aha moment?
I was like, so the game wanted me to give up? Like, I guess that's what the game wanted me to do. The thing that kind of, it's weird because the game never tells you this.
Doesn't hold
Doesn't
your hand.
tell you where to
basically.
go.
Yeah, there's no hint that says maybe you should go back to the store. Like nobody says that. Like you just go because I literally went because I gave up. That's I was like, oh, I can't. Maybe I'll find it again later.
I
I'll just
mean,
go to the
Dark
store.
Souls is like the perfect example. The tutorial boss kicks your ass. You don't even know you're not supposed to fight that.
I mean,
day.
there are people who kill it.
Oh yeah, but I tried
Yeah.
to and I gave up there.
But it just reminded me of like old game design. Because like nowadays that wouldn't happen, because there'd be like a giant arrow on top of your head that says go this way, or just like quest marker, do this.
They'll give you a little bit of a hint.
Yeah, but like that game, there was just no hint. Like I was
Wow.
walking around for an hour and a half because I just didn't know where to go. And I guess maybe the game designer he did it on purpose to make us feel like, oh, because it does feel like you feel like you're the character 'cause you're in a new world. You know, you don't know what to do. You're confused. So I did feel the same feelings as the main character would feel. And like in devastation, I gave up. I went to the store, and then that's when the cutscene, it triggers the cutscene towards the next like step.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so like it just made me, yeah, I was like,
But
okay.
at least now you found your direction.
Yes. I was like,
Yeah, on the positive note.
yeah. So that just sort of stuck out to me. I was like, this is a very dated. I wouldn't say dated because it could be good.
I think it's like a double-edged sword. Like the older game designs, it made you actually use your head.
Sure.
'Cause back then Google wasn't really a thing then.
But the thing about this is like it wasn't even like a logic thing or a reason thing. It just they want to destroy you, and make you feel lost.
Or maybe you
end up
just
going back
they
to the store.
expected you to go to the shop at least. Maybe your gear was
sure,
way outdated
maybe.
or something like that.
Maybe, but like
Yeah, I'm guessing
So
it
in
was.
the end, it's your fault.
no, but like the gear doesn't even matter because early game you just destroy everything. Like it doesn't change anything.
Ah.
Like I just went because I was just curious to see what was in the store, or what I could get, you know. And the save marker is also in the store as well, so you had to go there to save. So maybe it was like, someday he's gonna save the game. So I guess that was the idea.
I think this is how Easter eggs are found.
Yeah.
They're like,
Like,
oh, is this
He's gonna
it?
save the game sometime soon.
Before he logs out.
Yeah, before it logs
Then
out.
he'll
then,
know.
Then he'll know. Then he'll see the cutscene. But so that's one thing. And then I was playing through the game, and then I went to the Tarzan world and the Hercules world, and it just brought back this nostalgia of like, because I played this game when I was young, and that back then I was like a dumb kid, man. I didn't know any better, so I didn't really appreciate sort of the world and the design of the level design, which is pretty good. It's just that the gameplay is kind of, I would say, lacking a bit because it's very simple. Just attack, you mash the X button, kill some heartless, maybe use a magic once in a while here and there.
The limits of technology back then.
But you do feel that it's a bit outdated, Kingdom Hearts 1. I mean, they did update, like, you can use the right analog stick to, like, change the camera, which you couldn't do before, which is crazy, but now you can. But yeah, we'll see, because I'm going to play through all the Kingdom Hearts games in preparation for Kingdom Hearts 3, which is one of those mythical games, because nobody thought Kingdom Hearts 3 would come out, and it finally did. But yeah, that's my game impression.
Half-Life 3.
I mean, Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out, and Half-Life 3 comes out. That's like that's it. We don't need to game
that's
anymore.
maybe the end of the world.
Like
but
every developer should retire.
definitely the peak.
Okay, so now we reached the end of our podcast for this week. How does it feel? You know, I think we did pretty good this week.
I feel happy. I'm worn out.
Yeah. So now that we're all worn out from talking for an hour, let's have the closing words or final words. Since you did it last week, maybe this week.
The words of wisdom from
Kevin.
You just talked about what game were you just talking about again?
Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts is about Disney, right?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll close with Disney statement.
Okay.
It's a small world after all. Goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone.